What's up? What's up, everybody? Hey, Kat. Hey, Mika. Happy Friday. This is not a normal day for me to stream. Here we are. Yes. I prefer to thank God for every day, not just Friday. Especially, for the retail workers who, have to work Saturday and some Sundays, stuff like that. And people who, the weekend warriors that still have to work. There's so many people like, oh man, I'm so glad it's Friday. I hope you love your weekend. I'm like, yay, I'll be here. Your workday ended crazy? It was crazy. Oh, yeah? Is it crazy enough that they would hire me at work remote? Additional work, right? 21,000 possible in losses due to someone being a moron. Oof. Oof. Fingers crossed not, but there was a major slip up. Oh no. Oh no. Not your fault, but still your problem. Yeah, I know how that goes. I know how that goes. To give a lighthearted example, I had a gentleman today that was angry that certain cookies were not on sale because they were stationed in an area that was near ones that were. And the sign clearly said, buy one, get one free, and in bold, all caps, 2 dozen cookies. Buy one, get one free of 2 dozens. So they're prepackaged, 24 packs. Well, next to them were some 13 counts, not 2 dozen. And they were mad that they weren't BOGO. And I said, sir, I'm really sorry. There's not anything I can do about that. Yeah, Baker's dozen, exactly. Well, it was from the bakery, from our bakery. And he's like, oh, come on. I was like, oh, sir, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do with this one. He's like, come on, take some responsibility. I'm like, sir, it's not my department. I can't fix those things. And he goes, are you in management? I'm like, no, sir, I'm not. He's like, And his wife was like, relax, give him a break. I happily went over to check because if it had been wrong, like if it was our mistake, I'd have fixed it. But it was sadly one of those that it was pretty clear. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Could I have done something? Yeah, but would the managers have pulled me aside and asked me about it later? Maybe. You know, it's one of those things that, in the end, if I take care of the customer, they're really going to get mad at me. But this is one of those situations where I'm not trying to be a jerk. The sign was pretty clear. And yeah, the wife was fine. You know, she was like, "Hey, I want them. I'm going to pay for them." So sorry, ma'am. She's like, "No, don't worry about it. We just misread the sign." Yeah, it's fine. They're not. We don't get those all the time. You know, it's pretty few and far between. You know, it's no big deal. And like, there are some that I legitimately understand. Like, for example, if somebody puts the wrong sign in front of a product, and it's like, say, for example, it's the wrong size, and you bring me an item and they're not, you know, the sale price that's there. Um, but I can go over there and clearly tell someone messed up the sign. We're going to take care of it. You know, we're going to do what we can to make things right. But if it's like, you know, say, um, there's, and this is a bad example. This is a really, really good one. Say for example, there's a sign that says Doritos buy one get one free, and it's in front of Pepsi. Sorry, explain what that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, like, you know, if someone clearly put the wrong sign in front of something, fine, we'll work with you and do what we can. But if it's completely not the right item, or you know, not even close to anything that's on the tag, it's like, I'm sorry, this is what the tag says. Um, you know, I'll be happy to get you the right item for this. No, I want this one. Okay, sorry. Oh my goodness. Yes. Now those we take care of. If it was last week's like tag that is still out there on the floor, like, hey, that is the tag is on the floor, and like those, yeah, absolutely. And we absolutely take care of the person on that. Even if the sign right behind it, say for example, someone says buy one get one 5.99 on there, you know, save 5.99, and the price right behind it says, you know, 7.99 for one, you know, and you ring it up and it's 7.99, but you know, there's a sign in front of it that says BOGO for 5.99. Yeah, where I work, what they do is you get the first item for free, and then you get the second item and every other item you pick up, um, up to I think 8, so 7 others, at the same price. So yeah, they double down and take care of people. It's like, hey, this is our mistake. We're going to make it right. Like with that couple, if the signs had been up and we were wrong, they would have got one for free and one for the sale price. Oh, I didn't know. This is the first place I've worked at that I've experienced that. Um, yeah, I'll say. Wait, Walmart though? Oh, Walmart. Yeah, you are okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. Nope. I pieced it together. Yeah, Walmart's like, huh, no. Yeah, no, I got it now. I got you, got you, got you. No, I like what where I work. I think what they do is very, very fair. I like it quite a bit, and thankfully, I have a good bit of I don't want to say pull, but I have management's respect, and I may get questioned on things, but typically the answer that I give, they're like, okay, that's fine. Um, try not to make this happen. And it's like, yeah, it's like, I know it's not you, but if you can try to not make these things happen, try to help us out. It's like, yeah, no problem. Like they never yell, they never raise their voice, they never are like, come on, dude, why'd you do that? No, not condescending at all. Just like, hey, thanks for taking care of that. So I like that aspect of things too. So that goes a long way with me. If you tell me one thing and then, um, Molly, I'm so sorry. I just realized I didn't say hi to you. Molly, will you forgive me? You said be careful with them fingers. I would be careful. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I just looked up and went, I never responded to that message. I'm so sorry. It's all right. Oh, gravy. Yum. It does. It helps when your management team also respects you. Yes, it makes a big difference. I've tried really, really, really hard to maintain respect, integrity, um, but also have the respect of the management team as well. So they trust me with a lot. But Molly, how you doing? What's up? How's your Friday? Also, in case you missed it, um, my mind's kind of been absent with streaming stuff here lately. I've got a lot of other things going on mentally, and so I can't remember if you were here last time, but if you missed last stream, dude, it took me forever to get to a boss. Like, yeah, I fought some miniature bosses, but not like the end boss. I think I'm nearing the end of the game. So yeah, you might be in for a treat. Oh yeah, I've only had one job where that was the case, but I was 15, so I wasn't there forever. Oh man. I hate that for you. I do. Excuse me. It's frustrating. So I kind of have a goal. My hope my hope is to beat the game tonight so that next stream I can start the DLC. Because Nobunaga gifted the DLC. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I always feel kind of bad. Like, I really appreciate it, but I also kind of feel bad at times. Like getting gifted. Because you guys gift a good amount of stuff. You help me make content, so thanks. Random, but nothing is more annoying than getting emails about filing your taxes when you've already filed. Yeah, see, I'm waiting on a W-2 in order to file taxes, and I keep getting emails, hey, your W-2s are ready. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they are not. I know. It's one of those things that like it's not a like I feel guilty. Like, oh man, these guys are wasting money on me. It's not that. It's just kind of like a how do I put this? I feel like excuse me. The reward should be the other way around, not me be the person be rewarded for streaming. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, no, and I get that. Like, trust me, I get the don't rob me of a blessing thing. I do. Um, like that was one thing that I actually learned from one of my jobs when I worked as a field service technician. Was like, look, if someone offers you a piece of pie, you take it, because down here it's not being polite. They actually mean it. Here, please let me do this. This is their way of saying thank you. We appreciate you. Don't rob me of this. And yeah, so like I get that, but I don't know. I guess it's a little bit different as a streamer because sure, we get to have good conversations, and one of the things I do like is, and I know this is said by many people, but like hopefully you guys know that I mean it. Um, when it comes to streaming, it's not about just playing games and making you laugh. It is a portion of it, yes, but the real goal long term is to cultivate real relationships, not a you know and this is not a put down, so please don't take this the wrong way. This is not a okay, I'm hoping to build a following of a bunch of people who like me. That's not the goal. It's like, and I'm not saying that big communities don't have real friendships. I mean, I've seen um large communities, like we're talking people on Twitch that have hundreds of people that watch them, or and discords with several hundred people where they have community and people meet up, they get married, they have kids, they move across the country, move to another country, move across this different states, and um like I'm not saying that things happen. I don't mean that at all. um but it's not like I'm going to be best friends with everybody here. I know that, and that's fine. But I still hope to cultivate something that's real and not just a parasocial relationship or a um I really don't know how to put this. Well, I just want to say it, but like, I want it to be a real friendship, like something that we can just strike up a conversation randomly and it's fine. Like you have with your best friends, where you guys have conversations. Shoot, with Cat and Dark Range, we FaceTimed before. Like they called me on my birthday, and that was awesome. So like stuff like that, I think is super cool. We all have the guilt. I'll have that guilt that when people do nice stuff, you think, well, for me, it's a self-worth thing that I have to constantly reassess. Okay, so from my perspective, Kat, I don't think I'm worth this. And I'm not saying that you do. I don't feel like if someone gifts me something that money was wasted on me. Like, oh man, I'm just a waste of space and they shouldn't have gifted. I don't feel that. Um, for me, it's the thought of um, yeah. And I'm just, keeping the conversation going on that light. For me, it's more of a, because I know of a lot of situations that are out there, not for every person, but just a lot of circumstances that it's like, I appreciate this, but there's other things this could have been used for, and it's like I was when I bought my guitar. If you ask my wife about how long I fought buying a new guitar, she will probably tell you it was a frustratingly long time. But for me, it's not a need. And I still don't need it. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. Um, do I like how much I spent on it? Not really. But do I like the guitar? Yes. Does it sound great? Yes. Is it pretty? Yeah. Is it fun to play? Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy it. But when I think about the amount that I spent on, like, man, I could have done a lot of other things with that, and I didn't really need a guitar because the one that I have is fine. It's stuff like that. If that makes sense. That's kind of how I view some things there. But Kat, I love you, friendo. You're worth it. It's much trade the tangible for the intangible in the right circumstances. And, like, I still have my first guitar right there. It's right there. Yeah, it's right back there. I bought guitars I didn't need, but I love the guitar. Okay, let me show you what I did. So it's only last year or so that I've been able to move past buying stuff more than necessary. Like, I don't actually need it, but that make me happy. See, and this is where, and this is a me thing. I know it is. Things actually annoy me. Like, stuff annoys me. And it's not like, well, it has to have a purpose. But there's a point with me where it's like, this is just taking up space to take up space. There's clutter, and I don't like it. You know? And that's a me thing. You know, it's just like, you know, one of the things that I've been told that's kind of frustrating is that people don't know what to buy me. I'm like, I'm not to buy for. Like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want anything. So, like, that's the problem. Everyone needs to turn off their left brain once in a while. Well, and I'm not all logic. You know, I definitely have a very emotional side. Oh, I'm not a clutterbug at all. But doing something nice for myself was okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But I tell you what, I think dinner's done. And Molly, I tell you what, since you said you bought a bunch of guitars, I'll share the ones I got here in just a sec. But I'm pretty sure I hear dinner coming out of the oven. So I'm going to do a quick be right back and grab those items real fast. So see you in a few. I got my dinner too, so I'm gonna take a quick bite. Yum. Yeah, no. Not quite. Nice try. 20 streams is pretty impressive, though. All right. So, this might be a little frustrating at first, but I am going to turn off. Actually, no, I'm just going to change the input source. All right, let's see here. How do I do that? Properties? Aha! Okay. So the sound is going to be a little bit different almost immediately because please don't play any alerts, guys. Like, don't troll because it'll be really bad. I'm going to turn off like all my programs that run the mic. And I'm just going to have pure volume from the mic. You know what? I'm just going to turn the volume off. I'm going to turn my speakers off. So, here's going to be the difference. This is what my mic sounds when I kind of have some stuff tweaked. And, oh, of course, Pokemon plays. Thanks. You're funny. Like right now, no snaps or claps, but you're going to hear in just a sec. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, the guitars I was talking about, let me show you the difference. This might be a little out of tune. So here's my first guitar. Hey, look. It's very pretty. It's my Dean. Hey, what's up, Albert? Hey, Mika. Let's see how out of tune this is. Oh, that's so bad. It's so bad. Okay, so that's a little off. Give me a sec. I'm gonna mute my mic real quick so I can actually play this loud. Okay, so this is better. I was a little high. So, like my old guitar, sounds fine. It does sound good. I haven't played this guitar in a while. Okay, so that's my old guitar, which I really like. And the new guitar, which is this bad boy, very pretty. Very nice. Now, that same exact thing that I was playing on my old guitar, on this one. Let me make sure it's in tune real quick. It's slightly off. Give me a sec. Just slightly. Yeah. This guitar sounds so good. Okay, so the exact same thing that I was just playing on this guitar, the same distance. That's out of tune. That's a little high there, buddy. That's better. So, take two. You're just a fan of swords, you're a fan of axes. Well, maybe. Yeah. This guitar is very, very pretty. I'm very happy with it. But this guitar is exactly what I wanted, in that the back and sides, I know that backwards, back and sides are rosewood. The top is a Sitka spruce top. The neck is mahogany. The fretboard and bridges, well, bridge, not the brace, but the bridge, they're ebony. No, it's not. It's not a Taylor. This might be a brand that you would be unfamiliar with. Oh, rosewood is so pretty. I love how warm and rich. This guitar is an Eastman. Oscar Schmidt. That's actually a good guess. No, this isn't. It's an Eastman guitar. They are handcrafted guitars. Yes, they're made in China. Handcrafted, excellent guitars. Oh, really? I'm impressed. Because I had never heard of them until I started doing a bunch of research on guitars and tone woods and all sorts of stuff. I had looked at a Taylor, but I really liked Martin, and a few shops around there that sold Eastmans. Nice. Now these are... Excellent, excellent sound. I love this guitar. Well, I shouldn't say I love it. I really enjoy this guitar. It has been a very welcome addition to the group. I think what I like the most about it is it does just sound so warm. You know, you've got just... I also like how the hammer-ons work on this guitar, because I get an Asus to an A to an A2 to a hammer-on A. It's great. Or you get your crazy... Let's see, that would be D over A. Well, not over it. Yeah, I guess it would be... way down there. Anyway, you get that nice sound, but like on my old guitar, well, it is still very nice. I bet you do know that song. That's why I had to stop. My old guitar, here's the difference. You had so much body with that to this. Like, there's so much difference in just volume. Same. Yeah. Right? The resonance difference is incredible. And the thing is with this guitar, my Dean, this is mahogany. So it's still real wood. It's not a laminate guitar. Even though you get the nice little tap sounds with this, if you do. But no, it's mahogany. Yeah, the guitar that I have right now, the Dean, the only complaint that I had with it is, to me, it was kind of pitchy. You know, it wasn't bad, but it just didn't have a full range. But that Eastman, man, it sounds good. Just that. Real soft, just, well, not real soft, but... on this guitar versus the Eastman, same exact thing. Listen to it just reverberate. That. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. It's very nice. I don't think so. It is. Nope, I don't have a finger speed anymore. But yeah, I'm a fan of just. It just sounds nice. And oh, like you get. You got a nice your B, which is B is probably my least favorite. Well, I mean, at least favorite, but I don't like B chords. I like A though. Yeah, listen to that. But yeah, B, I don't know, it just. But C sharp minor I do like a lot. C sharp is alright, but C sharp minor is nice. When it comes to B chords, I think I actually like B5 the most. You get a nice little. Because it just. A2. Ugh. Oh, actually. Ooh. When I go from to. I guess you can make that work. Anyway, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, so there's that guitar. All I have to say, as much as I like the guitar, it was still pricey. Well, for me, I think it's pricey. But let me tell you, I like it. Okay. Okay, do I have the right mic? Perfect. Yeah, and honestly, in the grand scheme of how much that guitar cost, it really wasn't bad for that sound. Yeah, you pay for your sound, and man, okay, just take a guess. How much do you think that guitar cost? Man, I wish it was $700. What the price tag was. Okay, 1,200. So that guitar with tax, that guitar better than yeah, it's greater than $1. Yes. that guitar that I picked up, guitar and case, hard case, a couple extra knickknacks like that with tax was 1663. Yeah. Yeah, worth it. I mean, I got an Eastman case. I got, you know, uh, you were correct. It was greater than $1. The guitar I purchased was an even AC 422 CE. That's the model of guitar I purchased. Pardon me while I'm eating fried chicken. I mean, could I have gotten a little cheaper? Maybe. Because I think the cash price was like 1,500 something. I think I got a fair deal. It was from a local dealer. They would say local. You can't eat meat. Oh, I'm sorry. This is horrible. I'm only eating it because I'm hungry. Oh, you can have fish on Fridays, though, right? All you guys. Um, I'm so sorry. I do not mean to be doing this to you. That is very. I didn't even think of that. Forgive me. What is dinner? The meal after lunch. Get delightful sushi. Nice. Um, Cat fried chimkin. Look, Cat. The reason we became friends was not because I was an idiot. We became friends because I could shoot stuff really well in video games. And I had a very cool gamer tag. Okay, that's fair. We are pretty funny. Spicy crunchy tuna rolls, lump crab with avocado ooh, Old Bay, crushed potato flakes, and yellowtail hamachi nigiri, as well as miso soup. I think his gamer tag was Night's Eye. Night's Eye? Like the gem. Mika, that sounds really good, dude. It was so funny. People kept calling him Night Eyes all the time. It's like, guy, dude, it's Night's Eye. Like the gem in the game we're playing, Night's Eye. Oh yeah, okay. Can anybody guess Cat's gamer tag? I bet you can. You guys just became yourselves so quickly that I... Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, and it was really hard because at that point in time, he was our roommate. So, like, he was in the other room. I mean, sure, he'd eventually move out, but, like... RG, yes, dude, dang. Mika's good. You want me to say full name, Catergwen? Pippin Papilophagus? Pippin Paddleophagus? Whatever it is. The third? Oh, no. Catergwenus Philippi. Second of her namesake. Trick question, Mika doesn't have an Xbox. Oh, I'm guessing. Was I right? Oh, snap! I didn't know that I was actually right on that. I'm sorry, Mika. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I was just being snarky. Well, ruined that one. I'm just being funny. Well, attempting to. Yeah. Thank you, Turtle. Happy Friday. Yeah, I couldn't get my name on PlayStation. I was thoroughly upset, and I said, I'm not going to PlayStation now. True story. Actual true story. That's, well... Oddly, Crimson Blades is very desired. The name, not me. Your name is pretty unique. I like it. Mine is edgy. That backwards? My name is not Merc. Although that kind of ironically works. She might not. Yours is both weeby and archaic obsession. At least it's not arachno obsession. Okay. I can't say I'm too crazy about the extra leggy boys. The name Turtle is always taken. I'll pass. Although, you know, when it comes to arachnids, you know what game has arachnids? Lots of them. Scorpions are pretty neat. I will admit that. I don't want to be stung by them, but I do think they're pretty cool. All right, here we go. One. And game. Yeah. Okay, I will probably never be able to do that again. I see, then you must really hate millipedes. No, millipedes are fine. I didn't say hyper leggy boys. I said extra leggy boys. My favorite arachnids are horseshoe crabs. I used to raise them and release them back into the Atlantic. Centipedes? No! Why would you kill centipedes? Oh, excuse me. Man, that was a good one. I bet if I had opened my mouth, that my mic would have picked that up. Your DLC purchase has been confirmed. You can now enjoy Lies of P Overture. They're creepy and venomous. Some, yes. Well, Catagrin, that's okay, but we rely on them to exist. Fun fact, horseshoe crabs bleed blue, not red. Why am I even reading all this stuff? The DLC? Yes, I know, I just wish we didn't need them. Fair. Okay. Why is this song playing? Only that song. You know what? Forget it. Here's what we're gonna do. Done. Because their blood is not iron-based like ours, but copper-based. Interesting. That's how I feel about money, but humans actually did exist and progress without it for a long time.
No? Is that your final answer?
He is not. Okay, I'm assuming that's the DLC. don't want to go to the DLC. Went through this. Yeah, Mika, I basically left all forms of social media outside of Discord. My stuff is still there, but no, I'm off it. Like, I don't use Twitter. I never made an Instagram. I didn't have TikTok. I didn't make a Threads. I rarely I've been off Facebook for I don't know how long. Instagram. There's another one I can't think of right now. Heck, I didn't even use Snapchat. Any new outfits? No. Yeah, I got the diesel. I never really got into posting anything, but I have Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Tumblr, and YouTube. Unfortunately, I rely on Facebook. I discovered TikTok recently, and it has actually improved my mental health. Interesting.
Apparently, I must remain in this room. I hope Geppetto is safe. Be careful out there, won't you? The hotel will always welcome you back.
Thanks, Antonio. Tumblr. Okay, I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I'm pretty sure... Yeah, because this says hypocrite. Yeah. Where's the lady? I have most of the things. I never use most of the things. I am a passive observer. Well, I'm glad you're active here. Because I love you, friendo.
I always welcome. At the house of
I met my best friend on Facebook, and he eventually helped me discover that I am autistic with ADHD. That's pretty helpful.
You're here.
And
It's a relief. Being trapped somewhere. It's the worst.
I often barely even observe. The first one I had was Facebook, and I was basically dragged, kicking and screaming it onto it by my dad. Also, just to show everybody real quick, also none of the weapons are upgraded. Everything is still +0. Still +0. That discovery really helped me process a lot of trauma because there was a new perspective to see from. I remember when you were talking about having the tests and things done, because there was so much that you just wanted to understand. Like, I'm glad you got some answers.
Okay, I give up. Just don't kill me. Oh, amazing. I didn't expect you to thrash those rabbit fellows too. You're here looking for Geppetto, aren't you? The fox and the cat have got that old man. They took the submarine from that dock over there. They probably went to the alchemist's isle. There should be another one. You should commandeer it. If anyone asks, I didn't see anything. There should be something left at the dock. If anyone asks, I didn't see anything. Right. I had a feeling you would ask sooner or later. It's because of that girl, isn't it? I am not Alidoro, the Hound. Not the real one, anyway. I used to be Alidoro's partner.
I knew it!
Admired him, to be honest. He was amazing. Amazing at everything, except making a profit, that is. But he didn't need to cut me off just because I sold some antiques. I mean, what's a few antiques when you've got bills to pay? We argued. One thing led to another. I had to kill him. But stealing his identity was the logical next step.
Parrot.
My original code name is Parrot, after all. Fitting, isn't it? Oh, he was also from the country of the morning. Maybe he shares some blood with the girl. And that's my story. Tragic tale. Do you want to hear more? There should be something left at the dock. If anyone
When I found out
asks,
that
I didn't
asexuality
see
was a
anything.
thing, I realized I wasn't just broken or something, and it put stuff in a new light.
I'm just a guest here, with no special obligation to the hotel. But if you still want to hear... The alchemist said they would help me escape from the city. Talk about an offer I couldn't refuse. I can't live in the hotel forever. I need to move up and move on. Also, there was someone who was so annoying. That's all. Does that suffice? There should be something left at the dock. If anyone... There should be something left at the door.
Put a name to something helps degrade the
Good
terror of the
choice.
unknown.
Alidoro, am too great a treasure hunter to just disappear. My admirers would wonder. See for yourself. I sell only... There should be something left at the dock. If anyone asks, I didn't see anything.
So what do you guys think? A murderer trying to make his way into the world to move up, move on, and move out. And betrayed everyone there at the hotel. What do you guys think? Should we attack or walk away? And my best friend is asexual, and he said something very close to that. He was exposed to the existence of asexuals and a name for them by social media.
Right. But he didn't need to... argued. Oh, and that's my story.
I wouldn't mind
Tragic
hearing
tale.
more.
Do you want to hear more? There should be something left at the dock. If anyone asks, I didn't see anything.
He's actually not a
There
dog.
should be something left
He
at the
actually
dock.
killed the guy
Anyone
that
asks,
wore the
I
dog
didn't see
mask
anything.
and took the mask to imitate him. Because you see, after all, there is a dog mask. I think he's already at his worst. He knows it. Walk away. Okie doke. Very convincing mask. So are you saying that his life is rough?
It was a total attack. The Black Rabbit Brotherhood, the Fox, the Cat, and Alidoro too. I don't even want to guess what they might be planning, pal. This way must lead to their headquarters, shall we?
So yeah, he actually was one of the people who attacked the hotel. When the alchemist said they'd help him out, he's like, all right. And he attacked he was the one who let them into the hotel. I'm a sucker for dogs. I mean, I like doggos too.
Hey, look! That lever resembles... Yes, it seems we can use it to call a submarine.
The 4 legendary titans appear. That was kind of... like, abrupt. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, look at that!
Listen, pal. Nice landing, but, let's not make it a habit.
Lucy, I'm home!
What the? Hey, it's Sophia.
I am finally meeting you here. You're a clever one, so it shouldn't surprise you that the Sophia at the hotel isn't really me. My real self is on the upper part of the Abbey. I became his tool a long time ago. I have endured such pain. My soul split into pieces. Truth is, I guided you this far not to save Krat, but to save me. I felt guilty about that, but I was so elated when you answered my call. Despite it all, I thank you. My spirit and my body have lived apart for too long. Perhaps in death, they will reunite. In peace, I'll grant you my power before my spirit diminishes further. Stargazer will guide you, clever one. If you find my body, please help me find peace. My guidance ends here. After images of memories rage on the seaside because of Ergo, please be careful. I can't
Like
stick
this?
out forever, but I'll support you. The petrification disease freezes time and memory within the afflicted body. Ergo is the purified essence of that life, trapped by the petrification disease. When I discovered that, it opened my eyes, and I was able to manipulate time using Ergo. Simon, on the other hand, is trying to use my power to fuel his ambition. I wound back your time to protect you, so you could stand against him. So stop him. Save Krat.
Hi, Shuma!
I am the daughter of Valentinus, leader of the alchemists. Ambition overwhelmed him, however, and he spread the petrification disease, taking countless lives. Why would he do that? I don't know. But he brings a dark world upon us. That's for certain. Stop him, however you can. I can't hold out.
All right, we bust all this. We level up one more time. Level 80. Man, I didn't know I was this close to the end. I mean, despite this place being so ominous, it's also really pretty. We get more story.
I wanna go home. I don't wanna be here. How many sleeps till Daddy's back? 10 sleeps? 20?
Soon enough. You know he's quite busy. While you wait, why don't you meet your friend? His name is Romeo.
Hi. Are you trained to be a stalker too? Let's practice together. Call me Lampwick.
What are these? The waves, that's like a wall. Yeah, that's smart. I like that design, though. Beauty and danger are often intertwined, the thorns of a rose entangled among the elegant climbing vine.
He didn't even come to your graduation?
I don't care if an old man like that kicks the bucket.
Don't say that. It's nice you got any family at all.
Let's start talking about this. Oh, she's here. Grab her.
Wonder if that boy is me.
Please teach me how to use a sword. You're a legendary stalker.
Ugh, so annoying. Germany, get rid of them. I'm off.
That voice, though. No sé. No sé. I actually really like this. Like, a lot. I believe it's sand. Although I wouldn't be shocked if it was ash.
My God. No. I'm sorry. I was too late. I wish I'd got here sooner. If I had known this would happen.
A slim tiny spiders. No. Thank you. Okay, why is the air go whispering? Arche Abbey entrance. Time unknown. Oh, come on. Why are you going to say that? Because chaos reigns. Oh! Well, I think the ergo stuff, when it's whispering like that, is more the idea of humanity versus being a puppet. Could be crushed ceramics. That's a good point. They shoot in threes. Okay. So I wonder if I can get them to smoke these guys. All right, let's do this. That would. Man, this is cool. Incoming! Come on, shoot shots. Come on, big boy. No. No. Yeah. Oh, what? I was not ready for that shot. I was ready to sit there and smack him, and all of a sudden he exploded on, and ow! Headshot. I'm gonna die! Yeah, I hit him once, so I should get stuff for it, right? They're shooting at me. Okay, what's the angle you guys can shoot at? Well, straight down looks like. Made it. Yeah, serpentine, serpentine. Damn. Bad dog. Yeah, I really like this area. Okay, since I can't use these, be really cool even if I could just, you know, push the button. You know, push your burden. Yoink! So it said Histrus 2. Excuse you, sir. There's so many items in this area, and I kind of like it. Oh, I'm stuck. That's up. Beautiful. I didn't really know how much I was going to end up really liking this sword. The one I was using. This one's really big and chunky. The other one's just perfect. Like this is kind of like an Uggs, whereas the other one's just a greatsword. This is a little slower. It's harder. No, you know what? No, we swapped to it. We're gonna use it. Let's do this. There's a third swing. No, I want that. Not that. Oh, that hurt. Ah. Oh, that was lucky. No! Whew. Oh, I should have hit that attack. I got greedy. There we go. High level alchemist badge. Opens a mysterious door. How much would I bet it's for this door? I'm now an alchemist. Hey. What's up, Nobunaga? I was hoping you were gonna make it tonight. Okay, dude, I really like this area a lot. A lot. I know that sound. Okay, let me ask you this. Does the game give you kind of a heads up of like, hey, this is the end, you can't do anything else, you get anything else you want to do it now? Does it have any kind of heads up like that? Woke up because a cat's on your face. Damn. Oh, come on, let me get that. Ah. Yes and no, there's some stages to this place, but you are in the final area. Okay, so if there's anything else for humanity stuff, like, I need to do it now. Because, okay, don't tell me the answer to this. Excuse you. Actually... Except, right. But one thing I noticed, if you're gonna do anything in the side stories, you should do it sooner than later. Gotcha. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. missed. He was playing smart now. Boom. Wah, wah. Not sure if there's a no, like where the no going back is. Gotcha. I guess my thing is like one thing that I've noticed is I'm still like oh crap. It's like my body's still twitching like a puppet, and I thought that I had. I'm assuming that lies make you human, blah blah blah. I guess I kind of thought that by now I would be twitching less and be more human. I say, has the ergo not whispered enough? Even the small stuff counts. I know, I remember something about, like, whenever I got music, I got ergo, oh, buddy! I took that shot right to the chest. I need to take 2 more to be like Sean Bean. Too soon? Why? No! Wait, we're good. I thought he's dead. Ow. Wait, Sean Bean die? Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, Boromir was pretty cool. All right, and Krim, what do you want? I want to be a real orc. I want to be a real orc. Wah! Crimson. Wah! Well, that was also Waluigi. Waluigi's is an orc. Wait. Doggone it. Oh, come on. That's that. Oh, Nobunaga. I did one of those like online quiz things. Luigi. To see like what Space Marine chapter would you be? And what's funny is I got I gotta see if I can find it real quick. I think I got salamanders. And hold on, I gotta find it. Give me a second. It's gonna take me a minute. Also, they have such a sweet name. Into the fires of battle, unto the anvil of war. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Yes, some of the house sayings are pretty cool, but that one's pretty darn sick. Let me see. Nobunaga, hold on, I gotta find it. Da-da-da-da. I haven't found it yet. Hold on. Yeah, I got salamanders and then blood angels. After blood angels, it was ultramarines. Those were 90, 83, 73. Thought you'd find that interesting. 40K. Awaken, evolve, ascend. Greet the god who will soon resurrect from the top of the abbey. You know what? We're gonna do this. You ready? Oh, how did I not block that? Okay, I know how I didn't block that. No, I didn't block that. I don't know how that missed, but I'm not upset about it. A little upset about that one. All right, buddy, let's go. No! I ran out of fire. I'm a little annoyed that my attack just bounces off. Summoner's the best of the three. I mean, they are very nice Marines, and they like fire a lot. I know, right? It's perfect. Also, Sakan is awesome. Bye. Veteran amulet. What does that bad boy do? Increases max legion. Cool. I want to go up here first. No, I'm supposed to go to the top. Opens the door. Okay. 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 All right, let's see what we get from this.
No matter what fate brings us, serving her, welcome to her.
I have an damn. Wait. Oh, is it Vanini?
At the house of...
Ah!
Master Vanini's collection box. You have been busy, sir. The House of Vanini deals only in masterpieces and works of special genius, sir. And I'm pleased to say that for you, the private reserve is open.
Other Marines. Family? What's that? Salamander Chapter Master Joe. Go visit your family and don't forget the flowers for your mother.
The House of Vanini even...
What do we get? Oh, that's nice. Dang. Okay. So we just got the best armor. I am absolutely putting that on. I think for now we're going to keep the slash one on.
No matter what, sir, welcome.
I'm going to grab those, I think. I'm not going to use them, but I have them at least. Okay. And the lower salamanders are given the opportunity and are encouraged to visit them so they don't forget what they're fighting for. Yeah, I like that. Sadly, though, the salamanders, they're green. Oh, hello. Oh, you almost got me. I like my reds. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Shocking. Let go. Let go. Bon voyage! A lot of child chapters are like the salamanders. Maybe there are some better colors. Maybe. What are you? You're fast, and you don't have the thingies. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hey. Hi, Todd. It is a day you did not expect. Yes, please be safe, Todd. I would very much prefer you to be safe. Letters. Okay, good. Whoa, what are you? Dead, but... Well, I got it. Oh, crap. Okay, what in the Dark Souls frog enemies... You know what I'm talking about. Sister Alchemist Odread. Although she could not be completed, may she be with us through her noble sacrifice. I expected nothing, but what did I get? A Crimson Stream, so I'm not disappointed. Yeah, I wasn't really planning on streaming, then I'm like, you know what? Sure, why not? Part of the reason is, next week, I won't be able to stream. I close Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So it's like, okay, thanks. And then I'm busy on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I have no time allotted to stream. Oh boy, get out of that. Get out of that. Oh, dang it. I noticed too late. I'm like, nah, I can get this kill in time. Nope. This isn't a very good work-life balance. Why? Oh, I'm not. Wait. It is through that room. I'm gonna die. Dang it. I was not paying attention to that. I'm getting too comfortable. You know, I haven't done in a while. We're gonna bust out the old weapon. I wouldn't mind getting up there and, dropping that dude. See how I'm twitching now? Still moving like a puppet. On Monday, your work life is starting again? Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Are you excited? Camille, she is probably the first puppet with an ego found by the Order. Before that, Ergo was seen as just a travel expense for a holy journey of the Order. It was God's gift, but they didn't know that it was truth itself. However, God gave us fools the revelation for our enlightenment. It was God's miracle that Camille was made into a made puppet. Despite being in the early phase, when the design was rudimentary, Camille caught and saved a baby who fell from a crib. Such functionality was nowhere to be found in the puppet design. Her appearance and years lived were similar, so it's probably easier for her to manifest an ego. After hurriedly collecting Camille to launch an investigation, the Order found out that she understood language and received a message from her. Send me back to my child. By interrogating and taking Camille apart, the Order had opened the door to a new possibility. Later, means of control, such as the Grand Covenant, emerged, but it was a small problem compared to this discovery. Ergo is not a simple power stone. It embraces life. Through Ergo, we can open the door to eternal life. Awaken, evolve, ascend. With this discovery, humankind will achieve immortality. Yeah, my mind is, I'm ready. My body, no. Bear. Hey, Blades. What's up, dude? M1, you doing well? These are hard to fight either, guys. Whoa, no, you do not. Nope. Oh, thank you. All right, have a good night. Take it easy, man. Good to see ya. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, snap. I like this. I see items. Earshots. Oh, I knew it. I was like, ooh, what's this? I was like, what's this light on the wall? So I have a physical taxing job and lost a lot of muscles through the stuff that happened where I couldn't train or do anymore. It's gonna be very exhausting. Well, hopefully you'll be able to ease into it and not, you know, go from 0 to 100 immediately, you know? Look, it's a door. I was actually waiting for that thing to punch me off. That looks like a boss arena. Hi. Okay, do I want to... Yes, I do. Is it worth it? Yes, it was. yeah, we're manning. We'll probably do more than one playthrough of this game. Because, hey, Hugo, what's up, man? I don't know that I'll stream every playthrough, though. Because I kind of want to do multiple endings. Dude, Hugo, you don't have to apologize to me, buddy. I understand. It's fine. I'm happy to see you any chance I get. Nice. Well, we're nearing the end of the game. If you want to hang out for a bit. Nope. Yeah, so Nobunaga was like, hey, you're doing this DLC, right? I'm like, I don't own it. He goes, yeah, you do. Like, no, I don't. Check your Steam. Dang it. I'm not mad. It's just like, oh, I guess I do have the DLC now. Looks like a hole in the floor. Let's see if I can aim this. Let's find out. Okay, so I was actually anticipating the floor to cave through. You are getting a nice backstab. Yeah, you go to my knowledge, this is the last area. Nope. So many full moonstones. Aw, cat. Oh boy. Wait. Let's put it this way. Okay, so we have to go right there. Ah. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. No, no, no. No. Bad. None of that. Yeah, wait a minute. Why did I take the hard way? Let's go walk. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, I saw that. Let's do. Oh, you're gonna win. I'm gonna run. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying about the DLC. The cat started to meow like crazy. Oh, I said that you asked me if I was going to play the DLC. I was like, nah, man, I'm sorry, I don't own it. You're like, yeah, you do. I'm like, no, I don't. You're like, yeah, check your Steam. I'm like, no, what? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I do now. I know, and I thank you, Nobunaga. Seriously. Oh, you bastard. Oh. I appreciate it. I don't want to downplay your generosity. It shall be fun. Oh boy. Ow. I got a... Oh! Sir! Sir! I did not consent. That was a little too close. Oh, I look forward to it, man. I do. Now, how am I supposed to get over there? Oh, I see. Oh, come on! Ah, man. Oh. Huh? No, I need a Trinity key. All right, where's one of those riddle things? Oh, okay, I'm going down. Should go the other way. Yep, we're going the other way first. Something just says no. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Whew. You're on the bridge, aren't you? Yep. They fight back! Man, there's so many full moon stones. I need to try to... Wait, I need to make a list for my plans. Build plans in Neo 3. I have too many ideas. That's a game that I'll get eventually. I'm itching to play too many other games before I buy stuff. Neo 3 and... No, that's a boss room. Nope. Neo 3, the first Berserker, Kazan are games I want to play, yes. But... excuse me. I also plan to wait to get those. I've got so many games to play on my backlog, guys. It's dumb. Yay! Aw. Not the spot I thought it was. I thought it was that spot. How am I supposed to get to that? Wait a minute. Nope, that didn't work. I wonder if I can grappling hook to it. Okay, I'm gonna see if this is a shortcut door. Oh yeah, Neo, see, that was the reason why I really enjoyed Elden Ring PvP, is because I could do so many builds. What are you doing?
I'm not going back. I am sick of consuming ergo. It's cruel. There's real meals and real songs out there. I'm not just a memory-reading tool. What? You're not the inspector? Well, if you're from the outside, that means we can leave. Thanks. I know the way out, so don't worry about me. Maybe I'll see you on the outside. I can read memories of ergo. That's what I was made for. Ergo is crystallized time and memory. But God, I hate having to consume ergo to read it.
Why does it work like that? It's the worst. I can read memories, but I can't even dream of tastes, smells, or songs. I can't stand it anymore, so I'm escaping. When I get out, I'm going straight to Rosa Isabel Street. I can read memories.
What are my overall impressions of this? Dude, I'm impressed. Ta-da! I like the story options where you have the ability to tell the truth or lie. Overall, did I aim this? I can't even aim it. This area, I also like this a lot. This has been a fun area to be in.
I can read memories. I can read memories. I can't.
Let me go, thank you. Heading out. Oh man. Take it easy, Hugo. I hope you enjoy your dinner. And yeah, honestly, I hope this studio makes more, because this game is really fun. I like the combat, I like the story, I like the choices. This is good. This is good. One of the best games I played this year. I do wish I had a Trinity Stone for that, though. Or key. Trinity Key. Yeah, the weapon build system is brilliant. Oh, nice. Yeah, being able to change the blade and handle to change the way the weapons work, yeah, that's super, super cool. I think that's one of the more interesting features. Like, I don't know that I've ever played a game that had that. Alright, here we go. This absolutely is a boss room.
Whoa! Is that you?
Are you?
Wow, you're really something. Seriously, that's impressive. How did you follow me all the way here? Fighting is always my last choice, you know? But you're not getting anywhere near my sister, friend. You'll have to go through me first. And I actually thought we were friends. Was any of that true? In the end, I really don't care. There's only one reason we were given a mission. I'll let you go if you give me gold coin fruit.
What do you guys think? I like that stuff. And in Enotria, I love the idea of the masks. Yeah. The masks are very cool. He said I'm not getting anywhere near his sister, but he'll let me go if I give him a gold coin fruit? Like... So he has an illness that if he doesn't get gold coin fruit, he goes blind permanently. That's why when I watched him, he's like, "Whoa, is that you?" He's losing his sight. You know what? Here's what I feel. I feel like if I don't give it, I gotta fight him. But if I give him the coin fruit, it makes the fight harder. So let's give him the coin fruit. You guys agree?
Aha! I had a feeling we might eventually see eye to eye. I like you. Don't trust you yet, but I'm a cat. I'm slow to trust. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Krat. Sick to death of just surviving. Hurting, stealing, kidnapping. Surviving. When the hell does it end? My sister and I are going to leave for a different city. Get my eyesight back. A fresh new start as a family. And you have to know, that old man, Geppetto, is safe. We were never gonna hurt him. So please, just let my sister go. Ultimately, we want the same thing.
Alright, I'm actually really glad I did that.
And you have to know, that old man, Geppetto, ultimately...
Okay, I like that. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna have to do a playthrough and do all the opposite things I did this time. Yeah, I actually can't stay up super late. I gotta be up at 5:30 in the morning. Oh, wait! Ah! I jumped down for that. Good night, cat. Sleep well. Good to see you. Yeah, me too. I don't know why I like them both. You have Teemu Pikachu? Aww. Cat mask is kind of cool looking. Ah, there we go. All right, so this is good. This is good. I see you over there. Oh, I got hit with a after shot. Oh, I was waiting for the flailing bits. Alright, I gotta see what this attack looks like. That doesn't last long at all. The buff to my weapon doesn't last hardly that long. That little thing is annoying. Has so much health. Almost got me. This timed. Oh, is that what that does? It's like a perfect parry for a time frame? Huh. Interesting. I will say on the multi-hit weapons, I don't like... I don't like the multi-hits to break... them. It's way easier. They're still pretty cool attacks, though. To fire Archie. No, we're gonna get that thing. That was perfect. Oh. It's so sad. We kill so many puppets. Bye. Oh yeah, the guy jumped down. Fire abrasives? That many of them? Alright. Like that's the thing I don't like about these things is the they just, you can't, there's no stagger. I mean, I guess technically, how do you stagger something? Well, I mean, you can knock them around, I guess. I'm trying to think about how it's staggering something on the ground. I truthfully did not expect this, zone to be this big, although I'm not exactly upset with it. The last area being huge, and you're developing stuff. Yeah, I dig what. Ow. Ow. Oh, you're the guy that does the flailing around. That's more like it. Honestly, the dagger's pretty cool. Oh, we have another message. Oh, Vanini. Oh, so that's that. Don't think I understand. That's just cool. That's like the perfect attack to use the absolute defense on, because it hits like 4 times. Oh, that worked. I was worried about that. Woo! It's me, the Great Vasilini. My ideas are very smooth. Excuse me. No missing. Excuse you. What am I missing? Haha, you're funny. Oh, snap. I did not expect that. All right, time for old tools. Thought. Try it again. Ah. How'd that not work? I gotta work on that one. Oh, okay, I think I understand it. Well, I guess I don't. So is it on the... Oh. Alright, let's try it again. So it looks like I have to do it right as I'm doing the swing. Timed parry. Satisfying. That was way too close. Okay, so I need something to open these. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is the... Oh, not these guys. That was smooth. Okay, now I know where to go. I'm blind. Where's my air gun? Ah. Okay, now we're good. Moving on. No, I'm good now. Yeah, because that's going to open all the doors, and then all the nightmares persist. Okay, I think I got it now. Really? Yeah. That's a heart attack to perfect. My cats have once again proven they are fierce hunters. They killed a ladybug. Vicious monsters they are. Every single one of those hits missed. I hate these things. Okay, now let's find the item. Really? Oh, not this thing again. That was close. Got that just in time. Oh, okay, I get a corpse for fighting those? Alright. Alright. It's okay, it was a Japanese ladybug. I don't know what they're... I don't know why, but that doesn't sound right. Japanese ladybug isn't invasive. Oh, you're talking about the yellow ladybug? So the red one is the yellow ones? The ones that look like ladybugs, but they're not? Spotted lanternfly? Whoa, what's that? You're a little too cool. Wait, what do you like Geppetto? Surprise! Hi, Banshee. Yeah, and some red ones too, but they have more dots and are shaped a little different than the rest. faster than something like this being released. It's 10:30. I'm gonna be up at 5:30 in the morning. Well, that was bad. Yeah, I work 6:30 to 3:30 tomorrow. So I gotta be up at 5:30 in the morning. Coffee and pray. That's a ritual. The most incredible way to start your day. Not so much the coffee. Oh, almost got me, game. Yeah, so I technically have to be up in an hour your time. Well, I mean, but my time. You can stop shooting me anytime now. You'll get it one of these times! Stuck. You're on these. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can swear and type. I don't advise it, but I know you can. Okay. Go this way. Wait, we did? We beat Gaventula? We did it? Yay! Good job, guys. Nope, nope, stop. Ah, oh, crap. Nice, Nobunaga. It's a spider. What Fox amulet? Motivity and technique. Oh man. That's nice. That's 6 levels right there. And the crazy thing is, we actually have enough, I think, to give us another amulet slot if we go back to base. Yeah, spider does whatever. Oh. Spider pig does whatever a spider pig does. Oh man, I missed all of that. Yes, you can. Spider pig. So many full moon stones. Oh! Okay. Oh. Get a quartz. And 34,000. There we go. Heard spider tick. Whoa. But my phone doesn't like me cursing. Good. Okay, home, not driving. Hello. Hi, Tutters. That might have been wasted, it might not have. You! Oh, crap. Ow. Ow. Can't take a hit from this guy. Take one hit, I'm dead. Oh, I don't like that. Hurt. We're just gonna not chance that. It's close. Who once got bitten by a radioactive man? Now he fights crime. He is Mad Man. Wouldn't that be He-Man? No. Oh, please. Please give me a Stargazer to save with. Yeah. Not ready. All the way back to the bottom. Oy, oy, oy. Oh, sweet. What do you guys say? We go into the last boss room and we stay level 80? How bad are your jokes? Me. Yes! That would be nice. I have to hit a lot. But having increased Fable Arts, I think like the durability and that's nice actually. So now, I have another amulet slot. And if I really want to, I can run the Red Fox amulet for 3 more, it's basically 6 levels there. 3 motivity and 3 technique. I think I'm gonna run that for now. Nothing beats a fresh pressed, healthy, holy energy drink. What makes it holy?
Stalker.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
At the house of...
I always welcome. Oh, how long do you think it would take me to decipher it? Time me.
1,000, 2,
Ecco.
1,000.
All done and all yours.
So about 2 seconds.
For a layman, it would have been a tough nut to crack. Even for a replica. Child's play for me, of course. I bet you could make a fortune by solving the code behind it all. But why the Grand Covenant, I wonder? Apologies, my friend. I became lost in thought. Please take it.
Oh, it's the brand. Holy. I read it as brandy. Someone pressed the package a little too hard. Orders, the train doesn't leave anymore, and the merchant awaits a frozen feast in the destroyed town. An order form is attached to mutual trust, no gender preference, a request. Fox's equipment. All right. Modify. What do we think? We've got 6. So I like the range boost on that. So 1, 2. That's we can upgrade 1 all the way to full. I don't really care too much about overcharge. I don't really care about the explosion, acid, whatever. I think I'm gonna grab the shield. Even though I haven't used it once, I think I like it.
You're here.
Oh snap! I can't tell her about Alidoro. Now I can show this guy happy. Then unfortunately I gotta call it a night after this, because I have to be up at 5:30. Sorry guys. I was really hoping to tackle a major boss.
Hello, my only friend. What have you come to tell me? It feels good. Like being hugged by the sun. It is a brilliant feeling. Like the start of spring. Thanks. Hello, my only friend.
So did I tell him everything? Yes. Hey, this thing here, Nobunaga. Is this, is that the DLC thing? that shield. Or what I can tell it is. You tell them everything, they become sentient and take over the world. Okay. Hi, honey. Alright. Unfortunately, that's where I gotta end stream. Like I said, I gotta be up early. I'm pretty sure this is the boss room. Alright. I was the first to be completed. I will hatch from the egg and fly into the new world. So this is where we're going to end tonight. That means we'll start the next stream with boss fights. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out on a night that was not normal. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Love you, mean it. I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening, a wonderful weekend. Treat each other well. Hope Sunday finds you guys refreshed. And well. Sleep well, be well, and I'll see y'all soon. Good night.